Welcome back to Mastering MMA. I'm Coach Lee here with you. So today we're going to be talking about what you can do as a athlete to get the most from your coach, and what you can do as a coach to get the most from your athletes. So first of all, the biggest thing is communicate on either side, right? If your coach is showing you something and you're not getting it, talk to them. Right? Maybe it's a big class and it's taken a while for you to comprehend it and you don't want to interrupt. Say something after class. I love when students ask questions. It helps me know what I'm missing when I'm coaching. And so I like when they tell me what clicked for them too. Another thing I think helps out a lot that I do is I started out teaching kids, and I found that it takes a lot to hold their attention. So if I try to explain things different ways and use lots of different analogies to try to keep people's attention. Depending on what class I have, I'll change what I'm relating it to. But a lot of times I'll relate body movements to other common sports, or things. I actually do privates with a guy that's a mechanic, and a lot of times I'll relate things to things that happen in his job just to try to help him comprehend what I'm trying to teach him easier. Another thing that really helps me as a coach get to you is if I do say something that really clicks, let me know, because I can base other analogies off of something similar to help relate to you as a athlete. And I've gotten a lot of great feedback from that. As a coach, another thing you really have to do is realize that you're not the end all be all, right? Just because you do something this way doesn't necessarily mean it's the only way. There's lots of different ways to get to the same result. Some are better than others, but I tell all my athletes in MMA that there's not necessarily any hard, fast rules as far as what's going to get you in trouble and what's not. There's definitely things that are way more dangerous than other things, but sometimes that works just because people don't see it, right? Because a lot of places have told you a million times, like, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. So nobody they ever train with does that. So when you do that, sometimes it'll allow you to sneak something up on somebody. With that being said, that's not me saying go out there and be reckless and just, whatever. There's definitely I like to tell my students that there's a box, right? So this is my safety box, right? This is the general rules of what you can and can't do, what's going to get you in trouble, things like that. So I need to establish that box, right? That safety box. That's where I'm getting back home. I'm in a safe spot. As long as I know where that box is, say, here's my box. This line here, I can start bending this a little this way, right? As long as I know as soon as I start to get in trouble, I need to get right back to this straight line on this box. So that's the way I kind of look at my rules of what you can and can't do. There is some flexibility in all of them, right? There's no steadfast, this is right, this is wrong. Even if you look at high-level instructors that are, that's all they do for a living and they're living well, right, and have world champion athletes, they don't even agree on the exact same things, right? There's differences to the way each one of them teach the same thing. It might be minor differences, and you're gonna find in general the rules are pretty much taught everywhere, and then every coach will kind of let you know, well, you can kind of slide around this one a little bit, you can bend this rule a little here and there, and that kind of lets you escape that box, so everybody's not doing the exact same thing. That's where you get more into the artist part of martial artist. Another thing I really like is when my students challenge me on what I've taught. Not being rude about it, but ask questions, the whys or the hows, right? A lot of times that helps me figure out how I need to explain it better the next time I go to do it. If I tell one of my athletes to do something and I don't give them a reason why, it's a lot higher percentage that they're not going to do it if they have no clue why. And sometimes I'll show something, I'll tell them, like, there's multiple ways to do things, to do this move, but I need you to do it this way because it's going to lead into my next step of what I'm teaching today. So a lot of times there's people that know a certain move and they know it one way and they do it really good that way, but I need to change this minor detail so that you can flow along with the course of the class. Another thing I do that I really think helps out is, in my gym, we have lots of different skill levels in any given class. So I like to start out teaching something very basic that you could walk in day one and be able to take a good bit of that very basic move away and be able to retain that. And then I build up from there. Sometimes I do just basic stuff for a whole class, right? And even the pros that I'm coaching need to go over those basics. So there's nothing wrong with that. In general, I try to advance up off of that. So I might start out with something super basic and then end up with something extremely advanced. While the new people aren't going to get the extremely advanced stuff, it doesn't hurt them to see where things are leading. It'll kind of show them how we end up chaining things together, whether it's striking or grappling or whatever. It'll kind of let them see where the road can take them as they start to get the steps down for the different things. Another thing you really need to do is figure out if your coach is there for you. There's a lot of coaches out there that are not good coaches. I've been to many places where they have coaches that are not good coaches. I've seen people that are great at a sport can't show somebody else how to do a thing, right? So even though they have that good pedigree, you know, they have this accomplishment and this accomplishment and this accomplishment, if they can't connect to you, it doesn't help, right? So it's awesome if you can find somebody that's been there, done that, and can connect with you to be able to pass that knowledge along, but not everybody can do that. On the flip side of things, I've also seen coaches that can't do anything that they're teaching people how to do, but they understand how to do it, right? They know the concepts, they just can't apply them themselves, but they can teach other people the concepts who have the ability to apply them and have created great athletes in all sports, not just MMA. So you need to figure out if the coaches that you're with are the coaches for you. If you're not getting anything from them, if you're new and they're only teaching high level stuff and they're not showing you any of the basic details, that's probably not who you need to be working with, because that's going to slow down your progress a lot. On the other hand, even if you are experienced, you do need the basics, but if you're never getting past the basics, you're going to get bored and you're not going to get anything out of the coach. So you got to kind of play with that too and figure out what coach is right for you. For me, coaching over YouTube is kind of a challenge because I can't read your all's faces. I can't see your reactions. So I depend on the comment section to kind of get a feel of what's going on, or people talking in the Facebook group, things like that. That's how I get a feel of what's going on from my YouTube channel and what I'm getting through to people and what I'm not. So I really appreciate all of you all that are commenting and letting me know what you think of the videos, giving me your experience. That helps me out a whole lot, and it will help me help you. So please keep that up as much as possible. Another thing is, don't be afraid to ask your coach for help. Right? If my guys have fights coming up, I always tell them to get film, and I'll review it of their opponents. Yes, sir. Yeah, I always tell my guys to get film of their opponents, any film they can get, and I'm willing to go over it. I usually watch it a couple times, kind of pick up what I pick up, and I usually try to ask them what they see before I say anything. Hopefully we're seeing the same things, but if not, then I want to see what they're looking at and what they're seeing, if it's something that we need to work on, or if they're not recognizing stuff. But being able to spot it in the film is the first step to them spotting it in a fight. Yes. As you can tell, I picked my son up from the babysitter. But what I was saying is, when I'm looking at film, I'm trying to pick up on habits, things they do over and over again, same reactions. Yes, sir. Also, after the fights, I like to go back with my athletes and review their fights and let them know what mistakes they were making, right? Have them look at themselves as their opposing coach. Like, what would you do to have somebody beat you, right? Which tells you what you need to work on. So hopefully these things will help you be a better athlete, or a better coach, or a better student, whatever you need out of this video or will need in the future. If you haven't already, click like, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss anything, hit the notification bell, and definitely leave your comments below. Let me know some things that you do as a coach or as an athlete to help out that bond between you two. Hope you all enjoyed the video, and we will catch you next time on Mastering MMA.